Hey friends, Iron Banner is finally back, and for 1 week, not two, they were doing an experiment last episode. There are two new weapons up for grab. That is the Warlord Spear Arc Trace Rifle and the Peace Bond Stasis Sidearm. In general, I think Iron Banner loot is some of the most sought after for PvP because of their origin trait, Skulking Wolf. When you play against competent opponents, they typically damage you, so that perk comes up a lot and you go off the radar. That's why I value all these weapons. Instead of doing my usual loot review, I'm going to rapid fire a tier list mainly focusing on the meta tier, but then really quickly going over everything else. So to start, we're going to go with crimil's dagger. I think slideways is non-negotiable because it reloads as you slide and you're shooting barricades all the time, you're shooting equipment, you're shooting clones, etc. And then you get the handling stability bonus. It's amazing. As for the barrel magazine, masterwork, or whatever, just a mix of range and stability, but if you could also fit in handling, it is still very noticeable. For the right column, I think you go precision instrument for consistency when you're playing similarly skilled opponents, but when you have to carry, go adagio since that 2-tap 0.6 time to kill is very noticeable. But you can pretty much keep any right hand column perk combo with slideways and just put it in your vault because this is arguably the best all-around weapon in Destiny 2. Next up is the Multi-Mock. I recommend Rangefinder for consistency reasons with a combination of range stability masterwork and or steady rounds. And the reason that this matters is at extreme distances, let's say you're using kinetic tremors, you want the bullets to land. They don't all necessarily have to be crits. So stability is very important to this gun. But if you're just looking for SMG range kills, I still think kill clip is slightly better than target lock. Target lock is more fit for like the precision SMGs like Shayura's Wrath, etc. But it's still a fantastic consistency perk. So pretty much keep any combination of these three. Put them all on the vault. This is a lightweight weapon, so it pairs excellent with Hunter, or if you want to squeeze out even more mobility out of your Titan and Warlock. The next weapon is Occluded Finality Sniper, the Telescope, classic combo. Go for handling, AE, snapshot, and opening shot, and if you play an arc class, elemental capacitor for the handling. New weapon, Peace Bond. This one I'm going to have to try out before I make the ultimate recommendation, but I'm leaning on Rangefinder being the call over Zen Moment. I recently used Anonymous Autumn, and this was the case to me because you have to build up Zen Moment for it to be useful. Rangefinder already starts off useful, and it feels like the gun model doesn't block it initially. Somehow that extra zoom results in less weapon kick, which means you can see your opponent, which means you're landing your shots, right? For the other perk, use Desperate Measures if you melee a lot or have ability kills. Otherwise, it's just a good version of Rampage that brings the time to kill down to 0.5, a clean 2 burst. But for generic use, kill clip 2, and if you have some damage boosting build like Radiant, Headseeker is going to be amazing, as well as Desperado comboed with Radiant can go even faster. Let's look at it. At 0.43. So those are all your options for Peace Bond. Next up is Allied Demand. If you're a controller user, you're probably maining crimil's dagger, so whenever you need a close quarters swap, you don't have Drang in the kinetic slot, so Allied Demand is the closest that you can get to it. Again, Rangefinder to see what you're shooting at, and then probably Eye of the Storm to have more consistent bullets, although I would say definitely keep it if you get under over or one of the damage perks. You can experiment with Gutshot Straight. I've definitely owned this role before. It's fine. The final weapon of the meta tier list is Pressurized Precision Fusion Rifle. I recommend this because of Discord offsetting the ammo system. It's especially useful in Checkmate. But in Trials, you can get an energy weapon kill and then follow up with 2 fusion rifle kills. To improve consistency, I recommend High Impact Reserves, although I would keep it if you get Rangefinder, Eye of the Storm, or Cornered. I'm pretty much always going to recommend the same barrel and magazine and masterwork for fusion rifles. So just stability range, and charge time. And then finally, I want to talk about the new Warlord Spear Trace Rifle, since it does have enhanced hipfire grip, which is going to feel excellent. And then it also has, uniquely, 4 times the charm to essentially double your ammo if you're hitting yellow numbers. Now let's go through the rest of the tier list. Ganora's axe is power crept a little bit by the new Inquisitor, but it's still an excellent slug shotgun if you want it. Wizen Rebuke, I'm going to forget some of these names by the way. Wizen Rebuke is a high impact fusion which gets bullied by the Zealot's Reward Void fusion from the Garden of Salvation raid, but it's still excellent. There are some rolls that are super consistent. Jorm's Claw gets a little bullied by the BXR Battler frame, but if you're running around with a Radiant build, you're going to bully them. Lethal Abundance and Guiding Sight are great because of Slice, although Lethal Abundance isn't in the greatest of archetypes. It does have some niche use in like a triple behemoth ice farming build to use collective action with. Bite of the Fox has a unique role with Slick Draw explosive payload called Steezel's Shotgun. Shoot him with the bow, swap to the sniper, easy day. Checkmate, Discord, Reese Walker. Cleanup weapon, it's just a wave frame in the kinetic slot, so it's valuable. Point of the Stag got a little power crept by the Hipfire Archer's Gambit bows, but because this has Skulking Wolf, I still have to mention it. In the case of Archon's Thunder, I do think Hammerhead is more consistent and better, but this does have Skulking Wolf with similar ammo economy perks combined with the damage perk. This is just a great rocket launcher, Roar the Bear. I typically keep it equipped because I don't even like using power ammo in PvP, and it gets me back to shooting the guns I like to shoot faster, but solid PvP rocket. C tier. Hero's Burden has Zen Moment and Kill Clip, although it's a little power crept by its target lock precision frame SMGs. What is this one called? Frontier's Cry. Radiant build, AE build, controller gun. Has a weird weapon model, but you'll get used to it. Claws of the Wolf. You pretty much have to have a 5 out of 5 roll, and I would say it jumps up a tier or two, especially if you build craft around it. It's going to feel good on controller. I don't recommend the weapon, though. D tier. These two weapons are kind of power crept on archetype and stats compared to other similar options, although I guess with Radiant Dance Machines, you could use Dark Decider with Offhand Strike, and I bet you would have a lot of fun. F tier, just don't even I don't even know what these are called. See you in the next video.